Of the top 5 companies that are selling surveillance technologies to repressive regimes, 4 of them are in the EU.
Yeah.
And is that just another example of your point of this sort of duality in our approach?
Well, yeah, and they are, well, I wouldn't say duality, but let me just make the point that I think we should have a differentiation between the debate of freedom of expression, freedom of information, and surveillance. The surveillance technologies that are there, including this country, by the way, they do not limit in any sort of way freedom of expression and information. Because of the very fact that when you want to have, if our security service, because we do have one, want to tap the telephone of someone, I mean, there's a due process, and they certainly don't want to expose the fact that they are tapping, because that would limit their ability to get the information. So surveillance technologies are exceedingly discreet. They don't limit anything. There are other problems associated with those, but it's a separate set of issues from the freedom issues. Surveillance issues is the nature of the regime and what are the legalities for surveillance and for intelligence activities, which are also there on the net. Surveillance is normally, when you use that word, it's more domestic. Intelligence, roughly the same technologies, by the way, but use them in the direction of other countries.
But what I'm hearing is it's all right for us, but it's not all right for bad people.
Which is, well, roughly correct. No, I mean, all countries more or less have them. In Sweden, for example, if you want to do sort of surveillance, if our security service want to do a surveillance, or the police, they can do it when there is a founded suspicion on a very grave crime. It used to be espionage. There's a couple of more of those. They have to go to court. Secret proceedings, has to be said, but proceedings, and then they can do it. And then it's reported every year the number of such cases. If that is done by the intelligence agencies versus foreign objects, there's also a separate legal procedure for how to do it. And parliamentary oversight and things like that. I think procedures are somewhat different in some other countries, to put it mildly.
Okay,
so there's a difference, not to be too so polemical, but there is a difference between good states and somewhat less good states.
Yes, it's just how you tell the difference, I suppose.
Yes, but you see it. It's like sort of...
yeah. It's like an elephant, you know
well,
it when you
they're
see
pornography. I mean, it's difficult to define, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Ooh. The FRA law and the TDV, I believe, where you're putting in deep packet inspection devices in all the ISPs in Sweden. And I just wanted to say that it sounds like you're building the architecture that China has also been building quite a lot. And the difference here, where you say that surveillance doesn't cause problems, is actually well discussed in 1863 by Sir Thomas Erskine May, where he talks about the idea of being free from suspicion as one of the most basic freedoms. And I wonder if you could back up your statement that surveillance basically has no harm on society. Is there a way that you could cite some research, psychological research, for example? Because there seems to be some evidence to the contrary. And well, I wonder if you could talk about that.
That's your question now to Carl Bildt.
Yeah, but I think No, it's true. We got surveillance. I spoke about that. Yes. We've had that for a long time. Our security service do have it. Absolutely. I mean, we've had it. We had sort of laws for tapping telephones. I don't think there's any security service in the world that doesn't have it. Any democratic society that doesn't. The key thing is that there is a due legal process all the time when you do it. There's a court, there's reports, there's parliamentary oversight of all of these things. I think we've got the most...
If I can just, sorry to interrupt you, but I think the question I heard was more about the impact, and it's something that Ioannis Sanchez, who's going to be on the panel tomorrow, said about the paralysis that is caused in people when they feel that they are being watched. Yeah. Now, is this...
Well,
I think that's the sort of points that you're raising.
These things apply to... I mean, if you take the domestic surveillance, it's very heavily regulated in law. It is espionage, it is crimes of terrorism, it is some sort of serious organized drug running. There might be some other that I'm not aware of. I mean, but it's really, it is if the police has an investigation and there is suspicion of a crime that has a fairly heavy penalty in terms of years in prison, then they can go and ask for these surveillance to be used in Sweden. That's the case.
I think.
Sorry? Sorry?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make a
No, that's foreign intelligence. It doesn't. Sorry.
I'm going to. Sorry, sir. I think
it's
you
foreign
have had
intelligence.
Your,
it's a different
your
issue.
bit now.
And it's same legal procedures. I think I answered it already.
Yes,
They have due legal process on these issues, as I think you are aware of.
Yes.